Has anyone, any contestant ever contested an answer?
Oh, all the time. If either side asks, I want to get that checked, then she, independent of the producers and the question setters, verifies whether the answer's correct or not.
What, and they can just do that mid-recording?
Yeah, they just pause recording and everything has to be fair. We don't care how long it takes. It has to be fair and it has to be right.
Do you contest them as well? No, it was 2017 that you appeared on The Chase as a contestant. Did you apply like the natural route, just like everyone?
Yeah.
You did? You weren't scouted or anything like that?
No, so the quiz leagues get like contacted by production companies, especially for new quizzes. Okay. Going, we're looking for contestants if anybody wants to come along, blah, blah, blah. So I applied for one called Rebound on ITV when it ran for one series during the day. I came second. So I thought that was fun.
Right.
So
so you were on the you went.
I went on as a
okay.
contestant, but luckily no one's ever seen it because I didn't win. So I thought that was fun. It was a bit of a laugh. I'd do that again. So I applied for loads of stuff. I was asked to go do Pointless as a reserve, and I said no because I was working and I didn't want to take a day off. Mm-hmm. And I was asked to do couple of others, but I ended up doing The Chase.
Right.
So they went for the interview and went and did it. And
what was that interview application process like?
Because the application's just a form.
Yeah.
And then they came out to Oxford and they had the casting team, who are amazing, by the way. They go through so many people you have to find the right mix of people that'll work on TV. I would not want their job. I'd be terrible at it. But yeah, they did like a run through the show. They did a thing where you had to record a piece to camera to see if you're comfortable being recorded. Did a few questions and
quiz questions and stuff, yeah.
But fairly basic stuff. It wasn't that long. It was like 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. And then off we went. And then, a couple of months later, they said, come on down. And I went and weirdly won enough money to buy a back door for my house, which is what I wanted. Because my house had no back door at that point.
Why did it have no back door?
We moved in and the people who'd been there before us built a conservatory at the back and they ripped out the back door. But the conservatory was like one of these old wooden lean-to things. You couldn't lock it or anything. So, it was freezing cold. We couldn't actually lock our house. There was nothing we could do. No. And we just bought the house. And when you do that thing where you buy something and you stretch yourself as far as you possibly can go.
Yeah.
We had like no money. We moved in. There was meant to be the fridge that the old owner had left behind.
Right.
And it was gone. I'm like, what the hell? Contacted the estate agent, says, yeah, they ripped it all out. And I'm going, okay. My brother had to buy us a fridge because I literally can't afford a fridge with nothing. And so back door was way down the
list. So you earned £9,000 in the cash builder. Yeah. And then the other three contestants, and this is highly controversial, but the other three contestants took the low offer.
Yes. For the first time ever, actually.
Oh, was it?
The first time that the seats 2, 3 and 4 took the low offer, yeah.
Oh, wow. So first of all, first question, how did that make you feel?
Didn't care. I just needed a back door. So I was on there to win a couple of grand,
Right.
No, the thing about it is that you're actually with those people all day.
Okay.
People who haven't been on TV don't understand how it works. It's almost all waiting around. They get you there early and you're waiting around all day. I was with them for literally hours and I got to know them. They're nice people. I like them.
Yeah.
So a couple of them were very nervous. It was fine.
You're in a green room, are you?
Yeah.
And I imagine they film multiple episodes in a day.
3, yeah.
Where were you? Were you the first ep, second ep? Do you remember?
We were the second one.
Right. So are you able to watch the episode as it's being recorded? The first one? You're not. You're literally just in a room.
No, because the secrecy of who the chaser is
because you're all getting the same
huge deal.
Right.
So even before I had appeared on screen, when they recorded a few episodes of me and I was walking into my civvies, they were like, you can't just walk in. What if someone sees you? Says, no one knows who I am. I still had to do this. And it says, no, you have to get into the habit of this. And there's like a runner has to come down and radio ahead to make sure the corridors are clear and all that stuff.
Wow.
It's bonkers.
Wow. So you're backstage in the green room with your 3 other contestants. You're getting to know them. You like them. Have any of you discussed the potential possibility of them taking the low offer?
We kind of said, we'd have to see how it panned out. And we all said, just take what you're comfortable with. None of them planned to take the low offer. It's seriously intimidating being on TV. Mm-hmm. It's really intimidating being in a TV studio. Most people get nervous. I don't. This is one of the reasons why I got the gig.
Right.
There's cameras there, and in the back of your mind, you're going, literally millions of people are going to be watching me do this.
Yeah.
And you go, I don't want to go home with nothing. I don't want to go out, And then I got a high amount. So in your head, you're going, you're the second person up. You're going, I could get 4.5 grand here if I get through. You know, there's a lot. 4.5 grand is a lot of money. And the guy after me, Michael, he was only a kid. He was only 20, I think.
Right.
So, you know, if I was 20 and someone said you have a chance of getting 4.5 grand, I would have snapped their hand off for it. Never mind taking a low offer. No, it's people overreact.
You mentioned the kind of like the adage, like falling into a sewer and coming out wearing a gold watch. Those other 3 contestants, they come out wearing gold watches, didn't they?
They did.
Because they were on with you.
Yeah, I carried them through it. But like, we were all in together. It's a team game. No matter how, if you're playing football and one player has a bad game, you don't lose. You know, you don't go, oh, you're the worst person ever, or we won despite you. You go, that's a bad game. You got to pick it up next time. We're in it together. And the money isn't real until you win it. Yeah. It's fictional. It's just numbers on a screen.
Okay.
Like, it's literally not there. Only when you beat the chaser in the final second does that money become real. So it's like Monopoly money. It doesn't matter.
Well, you earned 9k, and then the other 3 took the low offer, which brought the grand total down to 6,300.
Yeah.
And then you answered, I think, did you answer all or the vast majority and the beat the chaser?
I didn't get them all. I got most of them.
Right. So you split the money 4 ways. What's that? Just over $1,000 each.
We got like 1,600 and something.
1,600 each. And there was quite a backlash online about this, wasn't there?
Oh, people care way too much. So to put it into context, this was the day that Article 50 was being debated in Parliament about leaving the EU, which is a much bigger deal. But this blew it out of the water. This was the #1 trending thing online. I gained hundreds of followers online. I only had a Twitter account because my friend, who was a bit of a hipster at the time, got married and wanted the photographs posted with a hashtag. You know, that was how we rolled. I hadn't even really used it. I didn't know what it was for.
Right.
And then suddenly it got out that this was me, and I gained like hundreds and hundreds of followers. All sorts of press people were calling me up. It was just the most bizarre thing, and it was really, really surreal. And the weird thing was, by that point, I was already interviewing to become a chaser, but I wasn't allowed to say it.
Oh, right.
So how long after you filmed the app did it actually go on air?
Oh, months and months afterwards.
So you just got back to normal life, and in this episode,
it already got a door, mate.
Yeah, my wife had ordered the door. It was ordered before I got home.
I love that. Don't waste any time. Yeah. And the people online, I read that they created a GoFundMe for you.
They did, bless them. And they raised quite a bit of money, actually.
Did you get the money?
Oh, no, I gave it away.
Oh.
It's not my money.
But you'd already got the door, so you're fine.
No, I gave it away. I gave it to charity. I'm not going to take money off people. I didn't win that money. It wasn't my money. Right. It's not like someone broke into my house and stole it. I got over $1,500 for having a laugh in a television studio for a couple of hours. By any stretch, unless you're a footballer, that's really good money.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting paid 800 quid an hour to be on TV and hang around with Bradley Walsh.
Was the GoFundMe just trying to raise the money back up to the 9 grand?
Yeah, they didn't get to 9 grand, but they got a few hundred quid, and I just gave it away to charity. It's not... I didn't feel right taking it, to be honest. I told them not to do it, but they did it anyway.
That's the internet for you. So you mentioned that you weren't nervous being on the show.
No.
Which is quite a unique position, I guess.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Apparently, everybody's nervous. But
yeah, well, why do you think that is? Because you're not from a TV background, are you?
No, not at all. I don't get stage fright. So when I was doing my PhD, I was a couple of months into it when we went to a conference of experts in the field, and my boss couldn't go, so I was presenting data for the lab. So I'd literally only been working in the gig for a couple of months. Yeah, that's fine. To like an entire audience of world-leading experts. And she's like, are you nervous? Like, why would I be nervous? Just, I don't have that in me.
What makes you nervous? Do you ever get nervous?
Heights. I'm terrified of heights.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like climbing a ladder, you'd see a different side of me.
Oh, wow.
Would you say you don't get nervous because you're confident in your knowledge and what you're going to say?
Oh, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like I did a singing show at Christmas a couple of years ago with Jenny and Anne, and I cannot sing. Didn't bother me. And we were being judged by like, you know, Will.i.am and Jason Manford and stuff. Like it was proper with like a few thousand people in the audience. Yeah, Grant just rolled out and did it.
Fucking hell.
I was excited. I wasn't frightened at all.
And didn't you do a drag show?
Oh yeah. I came second in a drag show in uni. I was awesome. I deserved first, to be fair.
I'd love to see some pictures. Have you got pictures?
There's probably some on my Facebook, which is completely hidden under a fake name. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I can show you some after.
What was your drag name?
Starlight Twist.
Starlight Twist. How'd you come up with that?
My friend Tom did. It's great. I wore my sister's prom dress, which I altered.
Yeah.
My dad walked in while I was altering it because I did home economics and I can sew. Useful in my PhD, as it turned out. And I'm sewing like shoelaces across the back of it because I'm obviously a lot bigger than my sister, so it'll fit me. And he comes in from the pub and he's like, I worry about you sometimes. So I had that and a big long blue wig, long blue satin ball gown, silver shoes. I look great.
Phenomenal stuff. Now, going back to the chase, you as a contestant, you faced the Cinnamon.
Yes.
Paul, when you see that reveal, when you see him come out, how did that make you feel? Were you glad that you had him? Were you gutted? Did you not care?
I didn't care at all.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really mind. I loved the show. I watched it a lot. So, I genuinely was just excited to be there. So it didn't really matter who came out.
Did you have a favourite chaser before going on? Was there someone you wish you could have
No,
had?
I did ask for Paul but this is one of those mind-blowing coincidences. So Paul Sinha used to play on my pub quiz team in Oxford before I lived in Oxford.
Oh.
He was on the same team. So he played a few games for them when they were in the Black Swan. We moved venues. So Paul, back in the day, had played on my quiz team. And I played, by sheer coincidence, played on exactly the same quiz team years later. So I asked for him.
So how do you go about being a contestant? And then did they ask you to come
they
back?
phoned me up.
What, straight after the show?
I think it was a day or two afterwards, yeah.
Talk us through that. What did they say?
So
all right, mate.
They phoned me up and says, hi, this is from, Helen, I suppose, so I can name her. This is Helen from The Chase, one of the producers. And I went, fuck off, lads. Because I thought it was my mates getting one of their friends to wind me up because they knew I'd been on the show. But then she's like, no, really? I'm like, oh, okay. And she knew too many details, so it definitely was her. She said, look, we're just interested in having you maybe coming in to talk to us about being the next chaser on the show. And like, confidentially, I went, yeah, that sounds great. So again, fall into a sewer, come out with a gold watch. It happened by accident. I didn't apply for it. It just happened.
Wow.
So I went down to their offices, chatted to them for a bit. They recorded me on camera while I was talking to them and answered some quiz questions. And they were like, yeah, fine. It was about an 18-month process after that of getting up to speed because there's some things I'm really bad at.
Yeah.
So like I was really bad at English history, lots of like stuff that I never learned because I didn't live here.
Yeah.
So I had to study all that, and then I went in every couple of months, and they kept assessing me, and I did a screen test, me and another couple of people, and they picked me.
Phenomenal, that, isn't it? Yeah. Love it. Now, Darragh, I just want to ask a few questions about your fellow chasers.
Yes.
If you don't mind. First of all, do you ever just go on a big night out, you and the chasers?
Not really, no. So we all live very different lives, for starters.
Yeah.
We actually don't see each other that much in studio. Beat the Chasers we do, because we're all together.
Yeah.
But the regular one, the person in the middle show sees the other two. So, we do 3 shows a day.
Right.
We're not all standing out the back waiting for, a queue. So we're on a rota. So we don't actually see each other that much. Things like award shows, big events like that, we go out together. I went to Jenny's birthday party a couple of years ago. That was great fun.
Nice.
Went to Paul's wedding, even though I hadn't actually appeared on the show at that point. Very nice when he invited me along. So yeah, big things like that. But we Anne is woman in her 60s who's autistic. Sean is a very busy barrister who lives in London. I live in Oxford. I've got small kids.
Yeah.
Mark lives up the north, or at least used to. He lives sort of like in the Midlands. And so we live miles away from each other.
Right.
And other than, we're work friends and we get along and we have a WhatsApp group and we chat to each other, but we don't go out.
Who would you say you're closest to out of the chasers?
Probably Jenny, because we're closest in age. So we're a lot younger than the others.
Right.
So we're in our 40s, they're in their 50s and 60s. Pretty close to Paul as well. He's a really good guy and he really helped me out. And then I spend a lot of time with Mark, actually, because we stay over in the hotel when we're recording.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of hang out and have dinner and stuff. Oh. And he's been really good with me, helping me adjust to the whole fame thing. Because, he has all that sorted because he's been doing it for so long.
And when you think of the chase, I feel like I might be wrong on this, but I feel like he's the poster guy to the chasers, maybe. I don't know.
Well, he's been on it the longest. And
that's probably right.
So him and Sean were the first 2.
Right.
So that's probably why. So those two are.
Those two.
And the sheer size of him means he gets attention.
Yeah.
People don't understand. He really is a beast. He's 2 meters tall. He's lost 10 stone.
Yeah.
And he's still massive. He is he's a big personality and a big, big person as well. So he kind of fills any space he's in.
Now, I love this question. I'm so intrigued to know how you answer this. Out of all the chasers, if it was a matter of life and death and you had to pick one chaser, you had to back them to get 30 questions right out of 30 on a specific topic, who do you think you would choose? You can't say yourself. And which and which topic do you think you'd go for?
I would pick Paul Sinha and I would pick athletics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but Paul is a nerd. He went to the Olympics this year, and he is genuinely encyclopedic on athletics.
Okay, great answer.
If you had to go 1v1 against another chaser, who would you least like to go against, but in a battle of pure trivia?
Pure trivia, probably Paul again or Anne, because they're good at the things I'm bad at.
Right.
I'd like to go against Mark because we are good at the same stuff, and I think it would be a really interesting battle. But yeah, I would say Paul probably, because he was number one in Britain. You know, he really does this quiz stuff very well. I'd have to say Paul would be the one I'd least like to do.
A little factor I read about you, which you can confirm or no. We need to know your reasoning behind it. Actually, what's the thing you do with cheese? With 1 second to go? Is this a real thing?
Oh yeah.
I like this.
So the worst thing you can say is pass. Pass has only been a correct answer on the chase once in 15 years.
And that was fairly recently.
Yeah, that was last series.
Yeah.
So they tend to have certain easy questions. So like I said, the level 1 questions have a limited number of answers. So often a very common question is, which dairy product? And it's almost always cheese. It's almost always cheese. It just is. So we kind of have a running joke. Mark shouted it out in Beat the Chasers once, and we all thought it was very funny. So now, if I'm down to 1 second and I need to shout an answer, I just shout cheese before I even hear the question. Because there's about a 0.1% chance it'll be right. And if it ever is, it'll be hilarious.
What happens the one time you shout cheese and the answer was pass?
Yeah.
Then you're fuming.
Yeah. Don't say pass. I'd rather lose.
Has anyone, any contestant ever contested an answer?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, that's perfectly fair. We have independent adjudicators on set all the time. So there's a company called Beyond Dispute, and a wonderful woman called Olivia does that. And she's appointed to oversee everything. And if either side asks, I want to get that checked, then she, independent of the producers and the question setters, verifies whether the answer is correct or not.
What, and they can just do that mid-recording?
Yeah, they just pause recording, and everything has to be fair. We don't care how long it takes. It has to be fair and it has to be right. And we tell everybody, as a contestant, you are told, if you're not happy with a question, if you think your answer is right and you're told it's wrong, say it straight away. Because we want to cut record, because it's a lot easier editing wise, to cut record, and then they go and check it.
Even in the kind of like the end games when it's against the clock.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Doesn't matter when it is. So you just go, I'm sorry, can we check that question? And then they go, okay. And this is not just something you can do; it's something you should do.
How often are they wrong when they're contesting it?
Rarely.
Because
there's a contestant setting team, a question setting team, who have the horrible job of setting questions for us because we never stop complaining. We're awful. We really are.
Do you contest them as well?
Oh yeah, all the time. So if I say, actually, do you know what? I don't think that's quite right, or I think my answer is also correct in a way, because it's hard setting quiz questions. It really is,
Okay.
and sometimes, especially if you're not an expert in the subject, there can be a second answer. And Brad has like a list of acceptable answers that he has to read through. So for some questions, because people have multiple names, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you just contest it. It happens.
And so when the contestants are contesting it, do they get overturned?
If they're right, if their objection is true, then it depends. So if the answer they gave is technically correct, Brad will take it as an answer. So they'll go back to the edit. He'll either reread the question or they'll go from the point where he stops asking the question. And he'll say, instead of saying, that's wrong, this is the real answer, he'll go, I accept or correct.
So there's a chance when we're watching it, there's been a few minutes of stuff that have happened that
just
take it out and gone, that was correct.
You have misreads and everything.
Yeah.
Brad's a brilliant professional. His ability to read at speed is epic. I don't know how he does it so well. But he makes mistakes. He misreads something, puts in the wrong word, misses a word, it happens. So you have to put all the time. Anyway, it's really rare we'd go through a final chase without at least one misread.
Is there any funny moments you can think of that would have been cut out that are suitable for podding?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I think sometimes Brad's reactions to his own misreads are great.
Right.
Like, because he gets genuinely angry with himself, and if he has a couple of them, especially, it's like, he's like, oh, fuck's sake, Brad, you'll end up on Pointless at this rate, and things like that, and because Pointless was until recently used to be recorded next door to us, literally next door, so we were neighbours. So
I love Richard Osman, by the way. I love it.
I do as well. Like, there is an absolute perfect contestant for the celeb chase. Really want to get him on, but he's a big shot now. He's probably too big for us.